Welcome to MCN. We're at the Kawasaki circuit in Spain near Barcelona, and we're here to ride the Kawasaki ZX-4RR. It's a bike that's been inspired by the kind of pocket rockets of the 1980s and 1990s. You know, if you think back, bikes like the RGV 250, KR1S, FZR 400RR SP, and of course the ZX-R 400 will hold a special place in a lot of sports bike fans' hearts, like mine. They went away and they've kind of been replaced nowadays by quite kind of humdrum twins. But Kawasaki have decided to revive it. It's called the ZX-4RR, not the ZX-R 400. And it's based on the ZX-25R, a bike that doesn't actually come into the UK. So we're going to be riding it all day here at the track, and there's actually, I'll walk over here, the ZX-R 400 that we can have a look at for a bit of reference. Look at that bad boy. So let's dive in to the detail. First impressions of this bike before actually riding it is that it's not as minuscule as you might think for a 400. Unlike the ZX-R 400, it hasn't got an aluminium frame. It's got a tubular steel trellis frame, probably to keep costs down, but Kawasaki say it's got similar chassis architecture to the ZX-10, and housed within that frame is this screamer of an inline 4-cylinder engine. .399cc, 76 bhp, it revs to 15,000 rpm, and the torque is 29 lub-foots at 13,000 rpm, so you've got to really have to rev this. To put that into perspective, ZX6 makes 51 lub-foots, and a Super Socco electric scooter equivalent to a 125 makes something like 31 or something like that. So, you know, away from the lights, unless you're absolutely ring-dinging this bike, you're going to get left behind by a scooter. But obviously that's not the point of this bike, it's all about the revs. In the UK, it's going to be about £8,700 and £90 on PCP, so it's quite affordable. And Kawasaki are offering a 4-year warranty, so you don't have to worry about streaming this to high heaven. We're only going to get the ZX-4RR model in the UK. So it's top spec, so you've got shower forks, they're preload adjustable only. The rear shock is fully adjustable, ZX-10 style, laying flat. But it's got a lot of electronics. It's got up and down quick shifter as standard. It's got a full colour dash. Switch this on. It's got a race mode and a road mode, so that's quite nice. Bluetooth enabled, traction control, 2 power modes, ABS, so it's a lot of tech for the money. And like all Kawasaki's, it's finished really nicely. The build quality looks superb, and of course the styling is very reminiscent, and the colours are reminiscent of the ZX-10. Let's have a quick look at this. You're going to tell me off in a minute, you tell me to get on the bike. So, it's the ZX-R 400, what a beauty. So, let's chat, let's go and get my helmet on and go and try one of these for size. Wow, that was a lot of fun. Today has all been about learning how to ride a 400 again around the track. I mean, you just got to rev the absolute thingies off it just to sort of keep your speed up. And therein lies the joy of this bike, and you know why pocket rockets used to be so popular back in the day, because they're so involving. You've really got to put the work in, and you reap what you sow, because the more you put in, the more exciting it is coming out. I've had to basically unlearn everything I know about riding a big bike around the track. You know, there's no V lines and powering out of corners and that kind of thing. It's all about keeping momentum, keeping like big U lines round corners, not dropping off your speed, and you know, little tricks like, you know, just letting go of the brakes sooner, just running through the corners faster, keeping the bike on its side more coming out the corners, so you're using the smaller diameter part of the tyre, which gives you more acceleration because it down gears the bike. All these little things, you're just nibbling away at the performance of the bike, just trying to get more speed, and it's really good fun. I mean, 4 sessions, we've done 4 20-minute sessions, and you know, I could do 40 sessions. The bike is so easy to ride, it's so flattering to the rider, you know, compared to 1000 that's trying to beat you up, or even the Supersport 600. This is a lot of fun. It's just a fun bike. And you know, if track days ever go down the route where they separate the groups by power or capacity rather than ability, you know, you and a load of mates on ZX-4RRs are going to have a lot of fun. As it is, I wouldn't really want to take one on a fast group track day with R1s, etc., because I wouldn't want to be monstered down the straights. But you know, here at the launch today, when we're all on these Kawasaki's, it's just the best fun. So a few questions to be answered really. You know, is a bike like this that revs to 15,000 RPM kind of too peaky and too unusable? Well, it's true that, you know, it hasn't got the grunt of a Harley, that's for sure, and you do have to rev it. But you know, on some of the slowdown laps and some of the opening laps, and when we were riding for pictures behind a car, I just kept it in lazy gears at low revs, and the engine is relatively flexible. I can't see it being too peaky around town. You know, I think you've got enough power for normal road riding, and then you've got that screamy bit at the top. So, you know, it's not too highly strung. Okay, it's not going to be an R7, it's not going to be an RS660 or a CBR 650R, which are its main rivals down low, but you know, it's going to come close to matching them at the top. So it is a screen machine. You do need to work hard to get the best out of it, but that's part of the enjoyment. That's why you're going to buy this bike. The engine is very, very smooth. There's few vibrations. The quick shifter up and down is lovely. Then we come to the physical size of it. I mean, you know, this bike's going to be aimed at people like me as well as younger riders. You know, I'm 6 foot tall, not the most supple anymore, got a lot of injuries. To be honest, when you first sit on the bike, it feels small, but the actual layout of it is relatively roomy. The pegs aren't too high, the bars aren't too low. You know, it's no ZX-10 when it comes to being cramped. It's relatively easy to ride, so that's a tick as well. And then you've got the handling. Okay, it's not probably as sharp as the old ZX-4RR. The suspension feels relatively soft, but with soft suspension comes ease of use. It's very easy to ride. You know, I could have spent all day tinkering around with preloads on the front and rear. I could have messed about with the compression and rebound damping at the rear and got it a little bit sharper, but to be honest, I don't think, you know, it may have improved the lap times a tiny bit, but it wouldn't have improved the enjoyment. As it was, it's just an easy, well balanced bike to ride. So the suspension's good, the brakes are more than you need. They've got good feel, good power, good back brake. The ABS isn't too intrusive. Grip, well, with so little power, you've really got more grip than you know what to do with. This bike comes standard with Dunlop GPR 300s, which are kind of middle of the road sport touring tyres really, same as they've got on the Z900 RS. But for this launch, we've got Pirelli Diablo Rosso 3 sports tyres, and to be honest, I didn't have any problem with grip all day. And the best thing about a bike like this is it's not going to eat tyres like a big bike would. So this bike has got electronics. It's got 2 rider modes. To be honest, we just left it on the full power mode. It's got traction control as well, but to be honest, never really kind of felt it. Maybe it's a little bit pointless on a bike like this, more of a safety aid, you know, if you're riding it on the road in the wet, and it's got ABS, and like I say before, it doesn't really intrude, it's pretty safe. So to conclude, the ZX-4RR is a fantastic bike. It's really, really good fun. Compared to its rivals, it's going to keep up with its rivals, but you're going to have to work really hard to get there. That's going to be half the fun of it. I think if you're somebody like me, moving back down from a big bike for this one, I'm not going to pretend it's a bike that you can just use every day and enjoy and easy. It's going to be easy to live with, because you know it is a bit single-minded. You know, it will go slow, but it really just wants to rev and go fast. And I think in small doses it'd be absolutely fantastic. You know, a Sunday morning rip with your mates on similar bikes is going to be fantastic. And if you can find a track day where you've got similar capacity bikes, then it's going to be brilliant as well. So, you know, Kawasaki are talking about this bike being all about the nostalgia, kind of a Super Sport 400 version of the old, or the current Z900RS, so it harks back to the day. And I don't think people will be disappointed if they have one of these in their garage. I don't quite think it looks as nice as the original ZX-4RR. I mean, the paint job on that was fantastic, and I think Kawasaki missed a bit of a trick there, because if they had painted this bike in those colours, you know, I think I'd put my name down for one. Then we've got the people it's really aimed at. It's aimed at the kind of people the original ZX-4RR was aimed at, newer riders, and it's their kind of first step on the big sports bike ladder. And I think for those kind of riders, this bike's going to be absolutely sensational, because it's very, very light, it's very easy to ride, it isn't intimidating by any means. It teaches you all about the subtle art of cornering, braking, trail braking, keeping up momentum on the track. It isn't too fast that it's going to get you into trouble, but it's definitely fast enough to have fun. So I think for those newer riders, this is really going to offer a lot of enjoyment. And you know, you're going to see a lot of those youngsters next year in 2024 in BSB, when this is a new class, a one make series for up and coming racers, and that's going to be one to watch as well. So to conclude, the Pocket Rocket is back. We're really, really glad. It's such a lovely change to ride like a screaming inline four compared to parallel twins. This Kawasaki is exciting, it's fun, it's well built, it's easy to ride, and I've just had an absolute blast on it all day, and it's a big thumbs up from me.